Now let's take a look at message browsing. Message browsing is where you can inspect the messages that are on the queue and then make decisions about how you want to work with those messages, and you may invoke other tasks. So I was on the message send page, and I can get to this queue I can get to the browse the queue a couple ways. We put in a little quick message browse link here that would allow us to quickly jump to that queue and browse. I can use the messaging drop-down window to do browse tasks, or I can do it from the queues list page, and I can select the little magnifying glass. I'm going to go ahead and use the little magnifying glass. When you land on the browse messages page, it's going to go ahead and run a browse task, and you'll see here that in the middle you've got the information about the task, how long it took, again the task ID if you need to go reference this. The little eye icon allows you to go view the task, and the little download icon allows you to go download it. When you download a browse task, you get information about the task as well as a copy of all the messages, the message bodies, as well as the message headers and properties. In the table view, you'll see that you've got a sequence number for the messages as they were on the queue. You've got a timestamp, the size of the message, and then you've got a preview of the message body contents. And so you can see here there was some messages that were on the queue before we came here. There's the 2 message batches message, and if I use the paging tool at the bottom of the table, I can see there's my test message 987, which was the last message that we sent from the send message. The message browse page has multiple views when we're looking at messages, so we can do a header view as well. When you click on headers, we're going to see the same messages in terms of the order they're on the queue, but we're going to get more of the header, more of the technical detail about the message. So we see the message ID, we have the timestamp. If there's an expiration on the message, it would show up. The reply to, the priority, whether or not the QoS is for the quality of service, which tells us if it was persistent P or non-persistent NP, as well as the message size. Preview mode shows the little message body preview. When you do filtering, it looks for against message IDs as well as message body. So if I were to type 987, it's going to filter, and you're going to see that it found message 51 that was way at the end of the queue, but had message body contents of 987. Once you select a message, the detail panel flies open, and you can see that I've got under the details tab, I've got all those headers and all the values there, and I can grab the message ID and copy that if I need it. On the body, I can also click view, and this gives me a larger view of the entire body with a download button, which allows me to download the message body. When I click on the properties tab, you can see that now I can see all those message headers and message properties. And here you can see that there's the height message ID 987 that we set on as well. Now on queues, you may have a queue that there's too many messages in the queue for you to do like a browse and then use the message body filter. So under the advanced, you'll see that we've got a selector tool here that allows you to do additional querying, and you can build a JMS selector to help query and limit the amount of data that comes back from the server. So in effect, what we're doing is we're doing server-side sorting. So here we're going to look for our height message ID. And one of the really cool things about these conditions, when we add a condition, is we pick what the type is, whether it's a string, an integer, a Boolean, or a date. And then the list of available conditions adjust based on that. So it makes it very difficult to make an incorrect query, which is super helpful. So we know we want to look for a message ID header, and we know that we want it to be greater than 980, let's say. Okay. Once I've built that condition, I can come over and I can click the plus sign, and I can add an additional condition. And you can see here, in relation to the previous row, we can do an and or an or. I can specify another property. It also is aware of the commonly used headers for JMS headers and the JMS extension headers. So those are all available to select. Once we have a header, we can also, once we have a selector, we can click Save As. So we'll call this our message ID selector. And I can clear it, and then I can come back and I can load it. And you can see here there's the message ID selector and it's going to load it back up. And so I can define these and save these and reuse them. The preview button is really neat. When you click preview, it gives you the exact text that this might need to be used in code. So if you're a developer, you can use this tool to build really complex selectors, hit the preview, and it's going to give you the syntax that you would want to put in your code. Okay, so now I've applied a selector. I re-click browse, and when you see that when this runs, you can see now it's only matched a single message and it has the 987. So this is very useful in helping filter through when you've got large messages, but you know you've got headers and things of that nature. In the advanced mode, in the advanced panel, we also have information about the message count, so you can increase or decrease that as needed. There's a timeout setting, so you can specify how long the task would keep going till it timed out. We can change the acknowledgement mode between auto and transacted. We've got the client ID, and we've got the same error mode and execution time options like we had on message send. We also have the consume mode. So when you click on consume, this actually takes messages off the queue, which you obviously want to be very careful of, but it can really come in handy when you're working with topics. So if we were to select a topic instead and do consume, now we're really just, it's more useful in topics when we're really just getting a copy of the data and we're not taking data off a queue. So if you need to monitor a topic for traffic, you can come in here and you can select consume and pick a topic, and it'll sit here, and as messages come through, you can consume off that topic. I'm gonna go clear our selector. Oh, we don't want to browse. Let's do a quick browse. Great. So now we're back to having our browse view. And that's message browse.